I guess you like to see something from the verdict?
Yes, I definitely want this verdict now because I'm worried about it. The court finds it fair to judge the two accused, Bengt Svensson and Anders Jönsson, to 35 pairs of whipping each. Oh no. 35 pairs of whipping each. So is that a whip with 2 lashes on it?
No, it's not. It's more like a stiff, flexible switch or a rod. But it's 70 strokes.
It just makes me feel sick. I was born in Reading in a little maternity hospital. And as the story goes, my mum was cooking Sunday lunch, felt a little twinge, walked round the corner, had me, and went home in time to serve crumble with baby Kate in her arms, which really sums up my mum. She was a brilliant multitasker and an amazing cook and just could do it all.
Oscar-winning actress Kate Winslet was born in 1975, the second of 4 children.
My parents never had any money, and it was always a real struggle. But we were very, very happy. I think I'm about 9 here. And this photograph is taken in a van, and I remember this distinctly because my dad, who was an actor, he always had to get whatever odd job he could. And he got a job for the National Trust. And he only took the job because one of the things that came with it was a 16-seater bus. And he thought, oh, brilliant, because we didn't have a car. And this was a way of basically transporting his large family for free. On my dad's side, all I really ever knew was, there's some other pub, lots of pubs, lots of booze, clearly, lots of actors, but much more than that, I don't really know. This photograph here, again, this is a family photo. My mum absolutely loved children, and so that sense of family has carried on in all of us. My mum, Sally, died nearly 2 years ago. She had ovarian cancer, and, oh, God, it's only because it's coming up to 2 years. She was an amazing lady. She should still be alive. She was here now, she would say, come on, shoulders back, sit up straight, don't swear. Yeah, we all miss her terribly, terribly, terribly. She was very much the centre of the family. My mum didn't talk about her family history very much, actually. I do remember when we were younger, there was some rumour about some Scandinavian thing, and people would say when we were younger, God, you look like a group of Scandinavian people. We do look Scandinavian. God, that'd be good. It's something that I've always wanted to know. I mean, I think everyone does, but I think particularly since my mum died, I just would love to know more about where I come from, on both sides. My Uncle Mark has given me a letter to get me started. My Uncle Mark is my mum's youngest brother. Okay, let's see what Mark has given me. Thank God. Dear Kate, I've enclosed a picture of my parents, Archibald Bridges and Linda Plum. So that's Linda Plum, that's my grandmother right there. That's Archibald. God, she looks like my mum. Wow, cool dress. The other photo is of all of us kids. Your mum is on the right. I'm sitting on my mum Linda's lap. So this is my grandmother here, and that's my mum, Sally. Linda Plum may sound about as English as it's possible to be, but that may not be the case. While I never met Mum's parents, they died before I was born, I did once meet her great-aunt Lily. I've never heard of Lily. Lily came to the house when I was little, and I vividly remember her standing by the living room window. She seemed very well-to-do. I know she'd come down from London to visit, but what I remember most was that I was told she was Swedish. I knew it! So she stuck in my mind. I do wonder where Lily and her family originally came from. Oh my God. Certified copy of an entry of death. Okay. The 29th of July, 1964, Lily, otherwise Lillian, Hellquist, female, 84 years old, widow, Myocardial fibrosis. Something, I can't read all that. Causing the body to be buried. Swedish Church, Harcourt Street, W1. So Lillian Hellquist is buried in this Swedish church in London. I've not heard of this woman at all. I'm feeling very excited this morning. Here I am at the Swedish church, which actually, funnily enough, I've walked past several times in my life, never had any significance to me whatsoever, but now it does. I'm going in.
The Swedish church in Marylebone was built in 1911 to provide a place of worship for London's Swedish community. Kate's here to meet historian Dr. Anne Kirshen.
I've been given a lead, which is I was given the death certificate of my great-great-great-aunt Lily. And apparently she's buried in the Swedish church.
Let me stop you there, because sitting in this church, it's obvious you couldn't have been buried here in the middle of Marylebone.
No.
She was buried at Brookwood Cemetery, which is near Woking, and there was Swedish ground.
OK.
So people, obviously of Swedish origin, would be buried there.
Lillian's date of death, 29th of July, 64, at the age of 84.
While I was checking the records at Brookwood, I came across another relative.
Right.
And that was the grave of Alfred Lidman, who was, in fact, your great-great-grandfather.
Alfred Lidman. So let me piece this together. So they were brother and sister.
Yep.
Wow.
Now, I've got something here. This is what's called an attestation. It's a church record that priests kept about members of their congregation. Now, that's the translation.
Taylor. Alfred Johansson Lidman. Born 1857, April the 21st, in the Ensloff parish, Halland. He was wed in the English church, May 1884, has 3 children. Right. OK.
So that's basically telling you that he'd moved from the place of birth, Halland in southern Sweden, to London.
My goodness me! He was 100% Swedish. This is just brilliant.
And we know from that he was a tailor. That was his craft.
How fabulous. I really admire that courage to go and seek your life.
Kate's 2 times great-grandfather, Alfred Lidman, married in London in 1884. London was then the largest city in the world, its wealth buoyed by trade from Queen Victoria's vast empire. At the time, there were over 50,000 tailors working in the capital, many of them immigrants, like Alfred.
Now, we know from the 1891 census where Alfred was living.
In London?
In London, yes.
What's the red and the yellow and what are these bits on this map?
There was a social scientist called Charles Booth. Booth created this map to show wealth and poverty by colour. Red was middle class and pink was doing very well. Alfred was living just along here in Great Pulteney Street. He was working in the West End and he was probably making bespoke garments for Savile Row.
So he was a Savile Row tailor?
Yep. And what I've got here exemplifies the kind of garments that Alfred would have been making up, is this wonderful image of a Bond Street bow.
Gosh, how decadent.
But your great-great-grandfather
Had a proper job?
had a proper job, well, more than a proper job. Alfred Lidman was successful.
He was?
He'd made the journey.
And I wonder what brought him to England. I like this man. I like this man a lot. I would love to take this family line further back. Where do the Lidmans come from? What made him leave? Maybe because he had to. I'm quite impatient. Come on, let's go. Let's go now. Let's go.
Kate has travelled to Halland in southern Sweden, the region which her great-great-grandfather Alfred came from.
I have been to Sweden before, only once, when I was about 6 years old, and it was nothing to do with family. My parents have some friends who live here, and I think I remember swimming in this lake and taking my feet off and swimming. There you go, I think I learned to swim in Sweden. Isn't that funny? Just remembered that.
Kate's visiting a country estate in Spurlingsholm. She's here to meet genealogist Ted Rosvall.
Hello,
Hi, you Ted?
I'm Ted.
Hi, I'm Kate.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you
Welcome
too.
to this wonderful place.
Thank you so much.
What do you think?
It's an incredible, large house.
It's a palace, actually, a small palace.
A small
Yeah.
palace.
It's built in 1820 by a very well-to-do Count, Henning Wrangel. I have here a document. It's a birth record from 1826. And the item I want you to focus on is this one, right here. Can you see what his name is?
Johann Christian.
Yes, and he was born at Sperlingsholm.
Sperlingsholm.
And that's right where we are now,
He was born here.
on this estate here. And of course, you can probably not read the Swedish text
Funnily
here.
enough, no, I can't.
But I have a translation for you here.
Okay, Johann Christian, son of stable groom at Sperlingsholm, Anders Johnson, and his wife Anna Christina Eriksdotter.
So who is this Johann Christian, you think?
I've got a feeling because Alfred, my great-great-grandfather, Alfred Johansson Lidman, because of the Johansson,
Correct.
is this man his father?
That is his father.
Okay,
Johann
so this is
Christian-
my great-great-great-grandfather.
Correct, yes.
And he was born here because his father worked here.
And of course, Johann Christian was known as Anderson because of our name system, where you took your father's first name and added son or daughter to it.
Yeah.
So if you had lived here back then, what would your name have been?
Kate Rogers' daughter?
Yeah, correct. Kate Rogers' daughter, right?
Sounds quite right.
Kate has discovered that her 3 times great-grandfather, Johan Anderson, was born on the Sperlingsholm estate in 1826. Johan was one of 5 children born to stable groom Anders Johnson and his wife Anna Eriksdotter. Ted is taking Kate to Sperlingsholm stables.